I grew up with Mercedes-Benz as the pinnacle, the height of automotive design and engineering. It was only really when I hit my 20s and Audi introduced the A3 that I began to think of them as a brand I might one day like to own.
Mercedes-Benz, the height of automotive design back then.
Yeah.
It was a bloody old man's car. This was me walking in from BMW field. I grew up loving BMW, had no time for Audi until the A5 came along, and that was the first time that I went, oh, hang on.
That was 10 years ago.
First generation. And they've changed quite a lot with the second generation, but I don't know if you are sold on generation 2.
This one makes me go this way.
Please come back, because I can't do this on my own. You know, the biggest thing, Lindsay and I have discussed this, the biggest thing for Lindsay is design. She actually doesn't like the new family face that the A6. What is it about it that you don't like?
Okay, so the bonnet, right?
Yeah.
It's just the bonnet. Everything else about this car is beautiful and lovely. But that bonnet for me, there's too many lines on it. It makes me think of a Jaguar or possibly even a Ford Fusion, which I don't think Audi's going to like.
But with styling, it always is going to divide opinions. But luckily, the bonnet isn't the only thing that's been changed on the second generation A5.
Aside from that controversial bonnet, perhaps the most significant styling departure on the new A5 is the grille. The now single-frame item is both flatter and wider than before, while its more angular appearance reflects the car's chiseled overall character. You could argue that it strikes a perfect blend of the almost feminine elegance of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupe and the muscular aggression of the BMW 4 Series. Moving along the sides towards the rear, signature A5 styling cues abound. A steeply raked roofline flows neatly into the integrated spoiler, while the shapely rear haunches conjure up a stalking cat that's ready to pounce on its prey. As is the case with most of the models offered by the German 3, you would need to splurge on a couple of options to make your A5 stand out and to give it a bit more on-road presence.
The second generation A5 isn't all about subtle nips and tweaks from a styling perspective. There have been some significant improvements to the meat of the car. Let's start with the engines. There's a 2-litre TFSI which comes in 2 power derivatives. We're sitting in the entry level, which for me is fantastic, ample. You actually don't need more than 140 kilowatts and 320 newton meters, but it does go up to 185 and 370 newton meters in the more powerful 2-litre version. There's also a 2-litre turbo diesel, which for me I would really like to drive, because I think that is going to be the engine to pick. 140 kilowatts as well, but the torque is impressive at 400 newton meters. But I suppose the big selling point here is also just how frugal that engine is. They're claiming 4.2 liters per 100, which is pretty amazing. But obviously a lot of hype and excitement for us pure petrol heads that like the driving, performance, spirited nature of a car like this. The S5. All new 3-litre V6 TFSI engine, and the figures look seriously impressive. But I don't want to get caught up in engines. When I got into this A5, what blew me away was the quality of the drive, because the second generation is running on an all-new chassis. New underpinnings, they've shed 60 kilograms of weight, and it's really made a significant difference. This car now feels ready to deal with everyday South African driving, not beautiful high-speed autobahns in Germany. It is compliant, it soaks up the bumps. They've really done a fantastic drive on that, and that for me is a standout driving the new A5.
Unsurprisingly, the passenger compartment is another highlight of the new A5. It boasts all the tactile surfaces and high-quality fit and finish we've come to expect from Ingolstadt's products, as well as new touches like Audi's must-have virtual cockpit. This, as you may have guessed, is an optional extra, as is the Audi Connect system, which allows the vehicle to serve as a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 8 devices and a wireless phone charging dock in the center armrest. A longer wheelbase means more space for rear seat passengers, while the boot is enormous at 465 litres.
So while you seem to be moving further into the Audi camp with each new model, I kind of feel like I'm moving out of it with each new design because I don't like where their new language is going.
Okay, but I just want to correct you there. I mean, the only thing that's drawing me to Audi now is just how engaging their drivers become across the entire range, not just fun cars like the R8.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that we're all in agreement on is when it comes down to price. And granted, I think all the Germans are in that position, but these cars don't come cheap when you spec them.
Absolutely. I mean, things like electric driver's seat. When you're spending 700,000 Rand, you expect that as standard. Smartphone connectivity.
Auto climate control.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are things that should be standard. So base price seems really fair.
Yeah, I mean, starting just over 600,000 right up to
million bucks for-
Yeah, and whichever 5 you choose, you're getting a great car.
It's going to clear your wallet though, and quite clearly the parking lot too.